Om Namo Narayana, welcome back. Today we are reading the Krishna Upanishad. To clarify before we get going, this is not the Upanishad which is often cited as it contains the great Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is actually the Kali Santarana Upanishad. This Upanishad is more the equivalent to like Canto 1 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we go. It's rather short. When the sages living in the forest visited Sri Ramachandra, who was the incarnation of the ever-joyful God and who was extremely pretty, they became surprised and forgetting themselves said, "We want to embrace you, O Lord." The God told them, "When I reincarnate as Lord Krishna, you will be born as gopis. Then you can embrace me." During the time of incarnation of the Lord as Krishna, Gokula became the forest heaven. Those who had done penance earlier became trees in the forest. Characters like miserliness and anger became asuras. The Kali period which was coming was postponed till the reincarnation period was over. That Hari, who was very pretty, reincarnated himself as a gopi boy. His playful nature was an unknowable secret. Because of that, the world was enchanted. Upanishads and portions of Vedas came in the form of 16,108 maidens. The Mercy was born as Mother Rohini, and the Earth Mother was born as Satyabhama. Humility was born as Krishna's friend Sudama. Control of senses was born as sage Udhava, and truth was born as sage Akrura. The broken curd pots became to Krishna the ocean of milk, so that he can play with it. This reincarnation was meant to destroy his enemies and to protect good people. The sword in the hand of Krishna was the god of destruction, the Maheshvara himself. Sage Kasyapa was born as the mortar in Yasoda's house, and the godmother Aditi became the rope which tied Krishna to the mortar. Kali, who destroys all enemies, was the mace. The bow called Saranga was the illusion of God. The harvest season of Sarad became the meals in his house. The lotus he held playfully was the seed for the world. Though the world was not different from all these, it appeared as if it was different. Similarly, God himself did not have any differences. And the Vaikuntha of those people who live in heaven was brought down to the world. The people who have understood this truly would get the result of their good deeds. They would get themselves released from ties of the body and attain salvation. Thus ends the Krishna Upanishad. So first, if you want to know about the story of Krishna, there's probably lots of books out there, but I'm familiar with one that I've read, and it's called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, put out by Swami Prabhupada. So it's a 2-volume set. They're both hardcovers. They're really big, and they are the complete story of Krishna, from birth to I think it's just about death. And it's prose and it's easy to read, and you discover the clay pots, you discover the rope, you discover all these things. That is a really good 2-volume to read if you just want the history. It's full of theology and it's not the easiest read. Thus, there might be other books out there that talk about Krishna biographically, and if anyone knows one, I'd be really interested in hunting it up. I've seen a few, but they're more theological. But Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is really good. Also, this is an interesting little bit because it talks about how all these people, excuse me, were reincarnated as things in the life of the Lord when he manifested on the earth, just before the coming of the Kali Yuga. So, what are we to do with that? I always ask myself that question for whatever I'm reading, particularly something that's like this, which is descriptive, but what do we do with it? Where do we go next? And it's an open-ended question here. And you can respond to yourself, or you can respond to in the comments, or you can just use this in your own practice. What do we do with this? I think it's Swami Prabhupada who would talk about like the Big Bang, and he would go, well, okay, now that you know what the Srimad Bhagavatam says is the way the earth was created, now what? How does it affect you spiritually? What do you do with this? It's a good question. Because sometimes I think we like to gather facts just for the sake of facts. I love facts. I'm like Sherlock Holmes in that way. My brain is this mental palace of ideas, and I like that. But again, is there value in it? Is there value in reading all these books? So the answers are not easy, particularly for this Upanishad. I couldn't tell you immediately. But I will tell you the first thing that comes to my mind. And then I'll let that be, and you can carry on the conversation if you want down below. So supposedly Krishna incarnated on the earth like 5000 BCE. And I believe that. Walked this earth. I don't know if all these stories are 100% true, but I think Krishna is real. So if Krishna is real, all these other things are real. All these people reincarnated as these people, places, and things. Okay. That's interesting. On a spiritual level, though, I will take away from this story, I will take away from this Upanishad, the idea that Krishna is all around us. And those who play with Krishna are all around us. We are a part of Krishna's play. Those who were here in this story, they were not just watching Krishna, but they were a part of Krishna. Thing is that the God is always with us. God didn't leave when Krishna died. It's not like we're waiting for Krishna to come back, or like we're waiting for Jesus. It's here. So I believe this story is telling us that at one point Krishna was here in the world and surrounded by Krishna. The world is Krishna. The world is a part of Krishna. It is all in Krishna, yet is separate as Krishna. But yet, we know through other teachings that God is still with us. So thus, is Krishna in this book? Is Krishna in the cover of my iPhone? Which may be a horrible thing, but my iPhone's cracked. So this has been very valuable to me. Is it in the cup of coffee that wakes me up in the morning? Is Krishna all around us? Is that what this is telling us? Not exclusively, but is that a reminder? I don't know. I'm just opening the conversation up. That's one way to walk away from this and say, how is this valuable to us? All right. Thank you for joining me. Thoughts, comments, and all that good stuff down below. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.